Pressure on January 6 panel ratchets up amid new explosion of Trump election lies. It's hardly a shock that members of Trump's orbit are seeking to evade accountability and the rule of law. But it represents a problem for the committee nonetheless, as potential witnesses seek to drag out the process as long as possible. They do so in the knowledge that Republicans who have high hopes in the midterm elections would almost certainly shut down probes into January 6 if they reclaim the House.
The Select Committee's members are showing fresh urgency, warning that Trump acolytes who diss subpoenas face criminal referrals, a move that would put the Biden administration's Justice Department in the hot seat. Every single person on the committee recognizes how important it is for us to make sure that we enforce our subpoenas and that we do so expeditiously, Cheney said.
Leaders of the Democrat-heavy panel previously pledged to complete the probe by early next spring, before the midterm campaign consumes Washington. First, the committee faces several important deadlines this week, including for a list of Trump associates already served with subpoenas, as it seeks to find out what the ex-president was saying and doing on January 6 and in the days leading up to his attempt to steal President Joe Biden's election victory. Another Trump associate, Kash Patel, a former Pentagon official, has a deposition scheduled for Thursday. Former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows is scheduled to be deposed on Friday. Both men are said by committee chairman Benny Thompson, a Mississippi Democrat, and Cheney to be engaging with the committee. Meadows, however, sought to politicize the investigation further on Monday, telling Laura Ingraham on Fox News that looking into the worst attack on American democracy in generations represented an effort by Democrats to talk about anything other than the economy. A fourth Trump official, former Deputy White House Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, also has a Friday deadline for a deposition. Biden Justice Department on the spot. Democrats have a couple of advantages now, compared with their halting efforts to compel testimony from Trump officials during the last administration. For one, House Democrats have spent years investigating Trump and his administration, impeaching him twice. They are familiar with the distraction of his political attacks, legal stalling tactics and the smoke and mirrors posturing that come from his inner cycle. They also now have a Department of Justice that is no longer under the 45th president's thumb. It took 2 years and a prolonged legal battle, for example, to compel former White House counsel Don McGahn to testify to the House Judiciary Committee about incidents recorded in former special counsel Robert Mueller's report into Russian election interference. His appearance, this June, belatedly confirmed that Trump had asked him to fire Mueller, but it came long after the information had lost political salience. Now that Democrats control the administration, the Select Committee has a reasonable expectation of action if it decides to hold witnesses who refuse subpoenas in criminal contempt of Congress and refer them to the Justice Department after a vote in the full House. If people don't provide the documents they are compelled to, we intend to take up criminal contempt and refer to the Justice Department, and we expect that it will be prosecuted, Schiff said Tuesday. The former president is still out pushing the big lie. The same big lie that led people to attack this building and beat police officers and put our lives at risk. So yes, we feel a sense of urgency. A comment that epitomizes GOP appeasement of Trump. A criminal referral may concentrate the minds of witnesses, but it does not rule out possible attempts to contest the issue in court. Trump may also test arguments about executive privilege, meaning a familiar cycle of delays, judgments and appeals could still unfold and eat up the committee's precious time. Bannon and Trump might even welcome the spotlight of a court battle to highlight their claims that yet again the ex-president is being unfairly pursued by an elite establishment deep state, a message that resonates with his supporters. It remains unclear whether the committee will seek testimony from members of Congress allied with the former president, even including House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, a California Republican who spoke to Trump by phone on January 6 as the insurrection unfolded. But the sense of a ticking clock is being intensified by expanding GOP efforts to bury the outrage of the worst attack in 200 years on the seat of U.S. democracy. Last week, for instance, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa portrayed Trump as the victim of a Democratic-led Senate committee that revealed new details about what can now objectively be described as a coup attempt by the former president. Then Grassley gleefully accepted Trump's re-election endorsement at a lie-filled rally in the Hawkeye State on Saturday. Grassley is far from the first Republican to seek to whitewash the Capitol insurrection. The House GOP, for example, is now largely an arm of Trump's autocratic political aspirations. As Cheney, one of two Republican members of the House Select Committee, put it in a tweet rebuking Scalise, perpetrating the big lie is an attack on the core of our constitutional republic. There is little hope that even an expansive report on the insurrection will change the minds of millions of Republicans who are convinced that the last election was stolen from Trump and of conservative media propaganda networks. But at least there will be an accurate, institutionalized version of the truth, which will provide voters confronted with the whitewashing tactics of the GOP running into the next election a chance to find out what really happened.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.